Howdy, everybody in YouTube land. What we have in front of us today is a couple of Macintosh Plus keyboards. So, the story with these, I had this keyboard, but the button, or well, the enter key is busted off, gone, and the stem is broken off, right? So this keyboard is basically useless without that. So I went on eBay and I bought this one. This was probably like 5-6 years ago. So this was dirt cheap because the key was broken off. It was in the little baggie, so I have the key, but the stem is broken off in it. So I figured, well, I'll just grab the inner key off of it and move it to this keyboard and just use this as a parts keyboard. Well, the problem with that line of thinking, actually, there's two problems. Problem number one is, well, that's a platinum keyboard. It's kind of dingy, it's in rough shape, and that's why I bought it. But that's kind of that's a platinum keyboard. This is not. So you can't. It's going to look weird. The second reason is these keyboards have gotten stupid expensive. You can't really touch these for less than anywhere between 80 to $100 just for the keyboard. And well, this is why. I mean, they're just nice feeling mechanical keyboards. But the point is, I figured, well, that kind of sucks. So now I got two keyboards, one with a missing key, one with a broken key that I can't really use. I mean, I can use this one. I don't really need this key. But it's kind of hard to use this one with that like that. So fast forward, I learned about a company here, Apple Rescue of Denver, in 2022. I was able to source the key switches and the keys for both keyboards. So I figured, well, hell, why not? I mean, the price wasn't terrible. I think it was with shipping like 30 something bucks, which is kind of high, but $30 to fix two keyboards is worth it, right? I got both keys and I got both switches. So instead of fixing one keyboard, we might as well fix both of them. And she's going to need a little bit of a clean too, so it's kind of nasty. So I figured, why not? Let's just fix these keyboards and get them all cleaned up and going. So I think we should start with this keyboard first. So I don't remember what all the parts I had in here was. That's it. There's the enter key. There was the enter key. And then there is the Z key, which goes over here. You can see how worn the key switches actually are. So, but yeah, there's the Z key. Even though technically I have the key here, but why not? So, and then inside here is a couple of key switches. Actually, no, there's the other key switch right here. I got two key switches. Alright, so we go ahead and get this keyboard apart and let's get it fixed and cleaned up. And I've not worked on one of these keyboards before, so this is a first time for me. And what the hell kind of arrow key arrangement is that? Anyways, moving right along. Oh yeah, she's a bit on the nasty side. All this dust and dirt and grime everywhere. Yeah, so we definitely got a little bit of cleaning up to do, and here's a little bits of plastic that came off with the screws when I took the screws out. So yeah, other than that, just general nastiness from being well loved. There's some grass in there, so it was well loved and then thrown away in a barn somewhere. Who knows? Other than that, it seems to be in pretty good condition. I have no idea how they soldered that on there because you can't actually get to anything. But I don't want to mess with that too much before I make it worse. So I think what we should do is just, while we have it apart, pull all the keys off, clean the base plate underneath it, and then replace this key switch. And just do a little cleanup of it, I think. We don't really need to get fancy with it, I don't believe. So they come off, the keys come off fairly easily. Stems are extremely tall compared to those. So yeah, I've got a key puller that we can use on this. And then I got to clean the keys up because they're kind of nasty. Got all the keys off, and yeah, she's a bit dirty. She's a dirty keyboard. And it definitely looks like it's been stored like outside at one time in the past, but who knows? That's the thing with random keyboards. You don't know where they came from, what the history is, because that's just how it goes sometimes, because everybody's fingers have been on here, everybody's animals, and yeah, it's pretty gross. People eating food at the computer, spilling coffee in their keyboards. And this would have been the 80s, and who knows what was going on back then as far as what people were doing at their computer, because honestly, I don't know. That's the part about tech history that's fascinating to me. Because it's always fascinating to me learning what people did with their computers back then. Because I'm used to what we do over the last 25 years based on my own experience, 27 years, but yeah, I have about 25 years of computing history myself, give or take, but prior to that, who knows, because I just wasn't there. You bored yet? Nasticated. What's interesting is I have 6 of the Macintosh, 128 512 plus style machines, and I've got 7 keyboards, so somehow I ended up with a spare keyboard. And I think the reason why is because I bought the extra to take the parts off to fix this one, which now I don't need to do that, so now I have an extra keyboard, which I guess is not a bad thing, all things considered, because it's getting harder to find these keyboards, and it's even harder to find one for a reasonable price, because now they're just, everybody wants insane money for them. Even when you go to the computer shows, swap meets and stuff like that, they know what they have, so they want big dollars for this stuff now. This might be a hot take, but Desk Authority was a mistake. But hey, what do I know? Alright, you get the idea. Now, I got fortunate with this one because this key switch was on the edge. So I was able to get my thingamabobs in there and pop those clips off to the side so I could release it out after unsoldering the pins. Now, the other keyboard, the broken key's way out here, so trying to get to that to free it up is going to be a feat. The only way really to get to them, if you got a middle key stem that's broke, is to unsolder all of these and take the whole plate off. Not exactly a fun time, but this one was easy. The other one's not going to be quite as easy. So let's get the new switch in here and get the keys reinstalled. Right now the keys are drying off in a bucket because I washed them all. There. Perfect. All installed. And now I'm not sure what to do with the old one. I could keep that key switch, or I'll probably toss it, because without the rest of the stem it's kind of pointless. This is like the most time consuming thing on this planet, is cleaning keys. And there we go with this keyboard. Now I had one of these backwards and I had these 2 ones reversed. I had to flip flop a couple of these around and that was fine. Now these 4 were fun because they're really easy to get them turned, and yeah, so Those are good. That's good. My inner key is now fixed. Everything is fine there. I did see, though, these keys, you can actually pinch them from the top and pull them out from the top. If I use this section of it and just kind of like pinch it, I can probably get the key out on the other keyboard without tearing the whole thing apart. But yeah, everything's good with this one now, so I can go ahead and get it put back together. Yeah. There we go. Much, much better. So we'll put this one together and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, so here's the platinum one, which looks a little bit yellowed. I'm not surprised, but you can see how nasty it is in there. So this one's got to come apart. So we might as well. This one's a lot nastier than the other one anyways. So okay, this one might be from 93. I don't even know. The other one was made in 1990. Yeah, these have never been apart before. Yeah, they were made in 1990. I don't know about this one. We're going to find out when this was made. Because I'm genuinely curious because, yeah. Alright. At least these are easy to take apart. And oh, God. This thing is nasty. Oh, yeah, you can see the original color. It's all nice and that's yellowed for sure. It's definitely yellowed. You can see the tone difference there. The bottom where it sits inside is the color it's supposed to be. So it's definitely yellowed. I'll probably, learn retro writings one of these days. But yeah, this thing is look at all that. It's yeah, this is bad. Just on so many levels. Oh man, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it in here. It'll be easier to pull the keys that way. Oh, the little dust bunny fell off there. Ugh, nasty. So this one, it's hard to get that key out of there because of how it's in here. Ooh, there's a little bit of rust. Yeah, it's a lot of rust. Alright, so this one was clearly... Oh. So the concern I have with this one is I might have to pull all the keys and the switches out so I can clean this base plate because it is disgusting. Oh, man, I don't know about this one. Let me think about this for a minute. Yummy! That's disgusting. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Decades of finger dirt and food and God only knows what else they've done with their hands in this keyboard. Ugh. Yikes. Oh, yeah. This was 12th week of 89, so this was made a little bit earlier than the other one, but basically the same year. So these keyboards were both released in 89, 90. So, alright, I got rust on the plate too. So, I don't know. Yeah, unfortunate thing is, I'm going to have to take this plate and all the key switches out. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm really not looking forward to this, but I don't have a choice. I gotta get all this crap off so I can clean the plate properly and wash it. See, here's the fun part right here. You gotta remove every single one of these key switches. Otherwise, yeah, it kind of, anyways, you can't get the plate off. I don't know why they did it this way, but they did. This is hard on the arms. Thank God for a single layer board, because otherwise this would be a bloody nightmare. Anyways, you get the point. Ugh, my arm's tired. There we go. Oh my God. In heaven. Holy crap. That's disgusting. Wow. Okay, yeah, I gotta remove all those key switches because that is just no. Wow. And that's what it takes to get it all apart. That is such a pain in the ass. So the next thing we need to do is grab our little brush here and clean off all the dirt and test these switches, because I want to make sure these switches are good, because sometimes especially with that amount of dirt on these Alps SKCC switches, sometimes the contacts can get dirty and tarnished inside. So I definitely want to make sure everything is good with those before I start putting all of those back in the keyboard, just to have to remove them all again, because that would suck, right? So let's do that. Alright, so I brushed all the dust off and worked and tested these. All those are the good ones. These are the bad ones. Now, it's no surprise that the ones that read the worst are the ones that were the dustiest. Some of these are completely dead. They're completely open. Some of them are kind of high resistance and intermittent and stuff like that. So the only thing I know to do, I've never worked on these switches before. So the only thing I know to do is to take them apart and get a little bit of magic sauce over there, otherwise known as Deoxit D5, and then clean the contacts out, because I'm wondering if just dirt got in them or whatnot. And yeah, this keyboard, it's taking a lot of effort to get it right, but what are you gonna do, you know? So, from what I can tell, it wasn't that hard to get apart. So, this goes inside here, and the way this works is this little plunger comes down and pushes up against these fingers, which pushes this spring here, this like reed spring thing. And what that does is it pushes up against this little plastic button that is right. Oh, come on. You can see a little plastic button in there, right? It pushes that, which pushes up against this copper reed and connects the two together. So I think what I want to do is I want to bend these fingers up, which I already did a little bit. Bend these fingers up so it'll put more pressure against this nipple. But also, I want to get some deoxit down into that reed and work this a little bit. I think that should solve our problem with this switch, because this was one of the dead switches. So we're going to clean that out and see how that works. A little bit of bent prongs and deox it later. Sure enough, fixed it. So there we go. That key switch is good. So that's what we got to do. We got to deox it all of these key switches and bend the fingers a little bit to push more pressure on that pad. So there we go. That's how we're going to have to fix these. This one is totally screwed. Look at this. This one's bad. You know, that one's not going to work. That's why that one's open. It's a good thing I got the spare key switches over here that I took parts out of. I'm going through these one by one. So out of all of them so far, I only found 2 of them where the switch plate was just too far gone, like that one, and then there's another one over here that's just completely eaten away. You can see the corrosion on the reed, right? So the way these actually work is there's a metal leaf spring here, and all that does is when the stem presses down, it pushes this leaf spring into this plastic stem. There's another stem on this switch plate. That plastic stem pushes against a copper reed that sits in there. So the copper reed is what makes contact. It's like this little reed and there's a plastic nub. So the reed just pushes up against this plate. So when you fill these with deoxit, you got to soak the whole thing and make sure it gets into the plastic where the reed sits. Otherwise it doesn't do you any good. Now, these are just too far gone. There's no way those are ever going to work. They're just corroded up to where the reed is not going to make any contact at all. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully, now luckily I had the 2 extra broken switches that took the reeds, the switch plates out of. And also I wanted to make a correction. These are not Alps SKCC. I thought they were, but they're not, because I went to go looking for replacement parts. These are Mitsumi Type 1 switches. So they aren't the same. Yeah, so on eBay, there's a few of them for like $11 for a pack of 5. I went ahead and got a pack just in case there was more damaged switches than I have switch plates for. Hopefully the next 3 are fine, but you know, you never know. So just keep on trekking away. Alright, I think we're good. I had just enough parts with the broken key switches to get this to work, to put back together. I don't need any more key switches. I already ordered the other ones anyways, because I probably have, well, the other keyboard I haven't tested yet, and I haven't tested the key switches yet, so there could be bad ones on that one too. Plus I've got 1 or 2 more of these keyboards that goes to other machines with the same problem, that could have the same problem. So I'd rather have spares and than be without, right? Anyways, so I got the plate cleaned up. There's some rust. This thing really needs sandblasted and powder coated, but it's not something I have the facilities to do right now, so I'm just going to leave that. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get the key switches reinstalled and the circuit board reinstalled and get this thing fixed. Oh, I also was able to pick out the broken stem on this particular key, but I have the key here. The replacement key that I bought from Apple Rescue of Denver is not quite as worn as the original, so I'll have to see how it looks in the keyboard. So anyways, if anybody needs an extra Z key, I have one. But let's get this guy back together. And there we go. We're all soldered on there. Make sure I didn't miss one. I don't think I did. I think we're good. So there we go. Much better. Alright. Perfect? No. But it's far better than what it was. My lord, it was nasty. Alright, so it's time to start getting this thing put back together and then testing it and seeing if it works. And then I gotta test the other one too. Alright, so time to test the keyboard. Now, I'm going to start with this one. This is the one we just worked on, the second keyboard. So I want to, hopefully this machine works because I've not restored it or touched it or anything. So, alright, we're in HD20 mode on the floppy emulator because there's a default image that Steve Chamberlain puts on these. Big mess of wires. It's a 6.0.8 And no, doesn't like that. It didn't like that at all. Is it going to work this time? Looks like it. Let me adjust the exposure because right now there's going to be a blinking issue. So there we go. I don't know what's on this image. I've never messed with it. Let's see what's in apps. Oh, there we go. Let's just do Mac Paint. That's a good way to test a keyboard. All right. Yep, that works. Can't tell if... Alright, so let's try my specialty keys. Looks like it works. The arrow keys don't work, but they may not in this app. No. Yeah, it's kind of working. Lazy God, there we go. We'll just do Lazy God. Yeah, keyboard is working. Does the tab work? Yes, it does. Does the caps lock work? Yep, caps lock works. Does the shift key work? Yes, it does. I don't know if the option key works, but yeah, I think it does. Does the command key work? No. Oh, you know what? This is predating shortcuts. It's an old app. Well, let's see. I should be able to close the window in theory. Yes, I can. So, yeah, the command key works. January 16, 2015. Wow, that's been a minute. Okay, I don't know what's in there. Alright, I'm getting sidetracked. We're going to shut you down. So, this keyboard works perfectly fine. So, the one that we had to do all the key switch repair on, it works. Yes. Alright, so that is one keyboard fixed. Now, this one is the one all I did was replace this inner key and clean it up, right? I didn't check any of the key switches on this one. I didn't unsolder them all either like the other one. So, we're going to have to play this one by ear. Now, this is the correct keyboard for this unit. Actually, this is a hyperdrive unit. Sadly, the hyperdrive quit working. I have it in my junk stash somewhere, but it just shows a checkerboard when you try to use it. So here we go. Let's try this one up. I tell you what, having a HD 20 mode is extremely handy because at least I can, use a hard disk image. So the command key works. That works. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, let's see. 0 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 equal. Yeah, it's working. Tilde. Yep. It's working, but I can't test the arrow keys because this app doesn't support it. Does the tab key work? Yes, it does. Does the caps lock? Yep. Shift works. Alright. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that keyboard works. So I didn't have to do any key switch repair on this one. I wish that worked though. Predated before that. Alright, so there we go. Both keyboards are repaired. And that will lead us up into our next video eventually, because I have more of these kind of machines that I need to work on, which I've got one keyboard for each and every one of those machines. So yes, I don't know what the hell did I just, let's see. It doesn't really fit the screen that well now, does it? Anyways, so alright, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And if you have a comment, please feel free to leave one down below. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.